Okay, before I get into anything today, I have to show you how ridiculously foggy it is outside right now. I mean, look at that. Doesn't that just make you want to go out and take photos? It's so nice, but that's not the point of the video today. If you've seen any of my recent content lately, you know that I've upgraded to the Canon R6, which is what you're looking at right now. And it means that now I have a bunch of extra camera gear that I don't use or need. Because my old EF lenses don't fit on this camera, and of course I'm using this camera for everything now, so I don't really need the EF lenses. And this got me thinking, I have a good amount of camera equipment that I don't use. So I've decided that it's time to go through all the stuff I have and find all the stuff that I don't use anymore, that maybe I bought on a whim and just don't have a use for. There's also gear that I've bought and then I've bought a better version of, like upgrading my camera, for example. I have other stuff like that where I've bought a better version of it and I still have the old version, but I just never use it because I now have the new version. So today I'm gonna take you through all my camera gear and we're gonna look at what stuff I can sell, and maybe if I sell enough stuff, I can buy another cool piece of camera equipment. Speaking of buying camera equipment, I just bought this, which is a film scanner. It's actually, well, it can scan all kinds of things, but I bought it for scanning 35mm film because I started shooting film photos. And it's really cool. It's just this flatbed scanner and you load your film into like this little tray thing and you put it on there. It's really cool. Look at this, I got 1, 2, 3 lenses that are unusable. I mean, I technically have 4, but that one is the kit lens for my T3, and I am not gonna sell my T3. This was my very first camera, the Canon T3, and although I never use it for anything anymore, it's kind of has sentimental value, and so I'm gonna keep it because it was my first camera. It means something to me. It's also not worth a whole lot if I was to sell it right now. I might get maybe $100, 150 maybe, for this with the kit lens on it. So I might as well just keep it, right? So not including the kit lens for the T3 and the T3, I have my 6D Mark II and 3 lenses that I use most for it that I don't have a use for. So we are gonna get rid of those. Not this bad boy though. This is my amazing RF 70-200 f2.8. This lens is just, I love this lens so much. This table is just sort of like my gear table that I keep things on. I'm trying to repurpose it maybe a little bit. This is my drone, the DJI Mini 2. I kind of crashed into a tree a little while ago and I thought it was fine, but the gimbal balances crooked now. So when I fly, the gimbal automatically adjusts for when the drone kind of moves side to side, the gimbal corrects and stays perfectly level. Except it thinks it's staying perfectly level, it's actually sitting on an angle. So I don't want to use the drone for anything professional right now. All the footage looks crooked and I can technically fix it, but it's just a big pain. So I'm sending it off to get fixed, so I'm also gonna pack it up today. Got a thing of bubble wrap and this box from the post office. Okay, they said to take out the battery and SD card. This might be a good time to mention I don't actually know how to package things. Never had to do this before. All right, I found Scotch tape and masking tape. I don't think I need like special packing tape for this, but we'll see. Yeah, it didn't work. So getting rid of my gear. It's really just a practicality thing at this point. Like, I have so much stuff. Sometimes I get people commenting like, oh, you're so lucky to, have all this gear and stuff. And it's true, like I am very privileged to be able to have access to all this equipment, but it's taken me years to build up this amount of gear. And over those years, sometimes you buy stuff that you think you're gonna use, and then you don't really end up using it that much. Or maybe you buy the cheap version of a piece of gear because that's all you can afford, and then later you end up getting a better version of that gear, and now all of a sudden you don't need the cheap version anymore because you have a better version. This is about how good my Christmas wrapping usually goes, so I'd say we're on track. I also think this is gonna fit. I'm just gonna stuff a couple extra pieces in here just to make sure. I'm definitely saving some of this though because I can just play with it. I can do this all day. Okay, I gotta show you what this looks like. Okay, what do you think? How did I do? I don't usually ship stuff, so this is the drone and this is the controller, and then I just kind of padded it with a little bit of extra stuff around the edges just to, make sure it doesn't get bumped around. Let me know in the comments down below how I did on my packing job. All right, so I've got a bunch of gear in my closet. I'm not gonna show you the closet. You don't wanna see the closet. But I'm gonna pull out some other stuff because while I sell my camera, I might do, like, people post stuff sometimes where they post all their gear and it's like one post, but they list all their individual items. I think I'm gonna do something like that because then I could sell things. I might sell it all at once, or I might sell a few items at once, and it might go a little quicker that way. So I'm definitely selling my camera body, but I'm just gonna go through all my other stuff and see if there's other little accessories that I can add on to that. Okay, well, on my bed here, I got this basket of miscellaneous photography accessories, and I'm gonna go over everything that I'm gonna sell, and I'm gonna tell you why. So the big ticket items first, we got the 60 Mark II. Now, of course, I'm selling this because although it would be really good to have 2 camera bodies, I really should have 2 camera bodies. This is now a completely different lens system than my main camera. And if I bring this with me anywhere, it means I have to bring an entirely different set of lenses so that I can use them with this camera and I can still use my other camera. I would rather have 2 camera bodies that use the same lens system so that there's no switching in between. I don't have to worry about it. All lenses work on all my cameras. That would just be so much more simple and would allow me to have a lot smaller amount of gear. So another camera body might be something that I get down the line, whether it's another R6, maybe an R5, who knows. It's definitely something I need to consider, but this isn't it. Then I got the battery charger. This still works with my current camera's batteries, and I would like to have a second charger, but if I'm selling the camera, I think I have to sell a charger with it. You kind of need to. So unfortunately, one of my batteries and one of my chargers is gonna get sold, even though I kind of want to keep them. All right, now my lenses. This is one of my favorite lenses, actually. The 16-35 f4. Now I really want to get the 15-35 f2.8 for this camera. I don't have anything wider than 24 millimeters right now, which is kind of This is a solid lens. I bought this used and it is in perfect brand new condition, so I should be able to get a good amount for it. Next is my 100 millimeter macro lens. I've taken a lot of cool product photos with this, done a lot of B-roll with this. This is overall a great lens. It's a little soft when you get to like a mid-range focal point, but it's overall really good. I shot some portraits with this too. Same thing, I got this used for a really good price and it is in perfect brand new condition. So also I should be able to get a decent amount for this. Lastly, this one I'm not so sure. This is my 24-105 f4 lens. This lens is old. I bought this used. It was already a little rough when I bought it. And since then I've had this lens probably 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. So the lens works perfectly fine, but I don't know if you can see there, I dropped it and I dented it. There's a big dent right there, which is a shame because the lens works perfectly fine. I mean, it does have, I think you call this lens sag, where gravity zooms the lens. But in terms of image quality, it's still pretty solid. It's got image stabilization. The 24-105 range is a great range. The f4 isn't ideal, but hey, it's not bad. This is still an overall good lens, but I know I'm gonna have to sell this cheaper because it's damaged. Now this, I'm not gonna sell this pouch. I like this pouch, but inside I've got 2 filters, a variable ND and a circular polarizing filter. I'm gonna have to sell the filters. Why is that? Well, because this lens here has a wider diameter around the lens than my old lenses. So what they say you should do to save money is, instead of buying a different size filter for every one of your lenses, you get the lens filter for your biggest size lens, and then you buy what are called step down rings. That's these little rings right here. And these allow you to use a bigger filter on a smaller lens like that. So that's what I did. I bought filters for my biggest lens, which at the time was, I think, this is 77 millimeters. But this lens right here in particular, my 70-200 is fine, it's 77 millimeters. This one particularly is, 82 millimeters. So you can step down, you can't really step up because you get a sort of vignetting effect when the filter is too small for the lens. So unfortunately, I can't use any of these filters on my 24-70. Again, good news is these filters are in perfect condition. They're really great filters, so I can sell them and buy new filters that are identical, just one size bigger. This is a light meter. I never use this for digital photos, but now that I'm shooting film, I might hang on to it. This actually, I have this little extra lens piece. Oh, this is good. My 6D Mark II is actually missing the eyepiece, so I'm gonna just put that extra one on there. There, now it looks a little nicer. This tripod, this is a good example of something that I bought because I really wanted it and it's all dusty, you know. But I stopped using it as soon as I got something better. This tripod's kind of useless. I bought this back in the day when Casey and I used his GorillaPod for all of his vlogs, and I really wanted something, but this one's too light. It's the small version. It can't properly hold the DSLR. But now one of the legs is kind of broken. It doesn't hold the weight properly anymore and just pops out. This one might have to go in the garbage, to be honest. I don't like throwing things out, but this is an old-fashioned camera strap. I'm gonna hang on to this for my film camera. And I've got 2 extra Canon straps. This one's for my 60 Mark II. This one is for my R6. I guess I'll keep the R6 one, and sell the 60 Mark II one. But honestly, it's a camera strap. I already don't like to use camera straps, but the ones that Canon cameras come with are not good. They work, but they're not like padded, and the fabric is just terrible. So it hurts your neck after a little while. Like you get rug burn on your neck. So I'll happily get rid of the camera straps. All right, here's a flat label of the stuff I'm gonna sell. As you can see, the camera strap has never even come out of the packaging. It's brand new, never used it. I hate camera straps. But we got the 60 Mark II, 3 lenses. There's a battery in the 60 Mark II that I'm unfortunately gonna have to sell. I could always use an extra battery, but hey, gotta sell a battery with it. The camera strap, charger, that little tripod, which I don't have a lot of faith in. And then my 2 filters, which is really unfortunate because I use both of these and I like both of them, but they just don't fit on my camera, so I'm gonna have to buy a new one. And this is one more thing I pulled out. I store all of my bags and random things that are too large to sit on top of my table. So we got camera slider, couple tripods, extra bag, glide cam. But under there, I actually found my old camera bag, which is great because I haven't used this in years, so I might as well sell it. Let me do a quick mental tally and just guess what I'm gonna get for all of this. I'm gonna go with $50, this is all in Canadian by the way, $50 for the bag, say $50 each for each of those filters, so say what, $150. I'll throw in the tripod for like 20 bucks, say $170. The camera, the charger, the battery, and the strap are all gonna have to count as one. I'm not gonna sell those individually. I think I can get $1,000 for all that Canadian. I think the 60 Mark II brand new right now goes for about $1,500. I'll have to check, but if it's $1,500 new, then I think used in perfect condition I should be able to get $1,000 for that. So we're at $1,170. Now the lenses, these two are brand new, so I'm thinking probably around $800 for this one and $500 for that one if I had to guess. Actually, no, I'm gonna say $400 for this one, so we'll say $1,200 total. So that brings our total to $2,370. And this one is pretty beat up. It is an L lens though, so I mean, it's still a good quality lens, but it's definitely probably the oldest, cheapest L lens you could buy. So, and because it's damaged, I'm gonna say $400 for that. So that's a pretty good kit. Now that's Canadian dollars. Keep in mind, if you're American and you're thinking, no, there's no way it's actually worth that much, just remember that Canadian dollars are valued less than American. But if I can get that value, even if I get maybe, like if we're being conservative and I get $2,000 for all this stuff, that would be a great addition because then I could put that $2,000 back into equipment that I'll actually need, like buying filters that fit my lenses, buying maybe a couple extra batteries. I've been looking at getting a battery grip for the R6 because the battery life is not great on this camera. So if I just had an extra $2,000 in cash from all this stuff, honestly, that would go really far towards getting accessories and stuff for my camera that I'll actually be using. So if you're a photographer or videographer and you've been shooting for a while, building up gear for a few years, when was the last time you took a look at your inventory? When was the last time you really looked at all your stuff and thought, I haven't used that in a long time? Maybe this is your sign to go through all of your gear and find stuff that you don't use, stuff that you can sell, and put that money towards your business, more photography gear, whatever it might be. I'm gonna wrap up the video here. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Remember to follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Links are down below. Down below, you'll also find links to all of my gear, the gear that I actually use on a regular basis, not the stuff I'm selling. And if you're interested in buying any of that stuff with the money you got from selling your old used gear, then you can find the links for that down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.